karma. It's time to go through some revenge plots that went really, really wrong. Bad Penergy. Have you ever had a bad boss? Maybe they snowed you under with work they knew you couldn't do in time, or blamed you for something that wasn't your fault. Well, if you have, then this next story is for you. Back in 2021, Andreas Flatten quit his job at OK Luxury Auto Works in Georgia. He claimed the job had a pretty toxic culture, and so decided to move on. However, his boss, Miles Walker, refused to give him his final paycheck. After he went silent on the matter, Andreas went to the Department of Labor, asking after the $915 Miles owed him. Then, a few weeks later, Andreas opened his door and discovered a gigantic pile of pennies on his driveway, which were covered in oil, along with his last paycheck that had a pretty nasty expletive scrawled on the front. Shocked, he and his girlfriend painstakingly shoveled every last penny into a wheelbarrow, realizing that this must be the way Miles had decided to pay him, in some 91,500 greasy pennies. It was a pretty childish form of revenge, but Andreas had no choice but to deal with it. So he got in touch with Coinstar, a coin-collecting company, who agreed to collect the pennies and exchange them for bills. But they also asked if they could post a press release about the unusual incident on their website, as it made them look very good. Andreas said yes, not thinking much of it, but this press release got the attention of local and then national media, who all then covered the story, dragging Miles and his business through the dirt. Miles tried to discredit the press release by posting a lot of nasty stuff about Andreas on the company website. But that's when the Department of Labor caught wind of the situation. Seeing the pennies, the press release, and the website slander, they then sued Miles for unfair retaliation against an employee. But as they were filing through this and going through Miles's records, they noticed he hadn't been paying his workers overtime, which he was required to do by law. As such, they slapped him with an eye-watering $40,000 bill in back pay to all the workers he'd screwed over. He was forced to cough over the full amount. All while national tabloids covered the story of his disgrace and one-star reviews began to flood his business pages, which he might have avoided if only he hadn't stooped to such a petty attempt at revenge. These bros ain't loyal. It's pretty rare that you find a story where someone admits not only to cheating in a relationship, but that they were wrong. And yet, I found one, and boy, is it juicy. A now-deleted Reddit user, who I'll call Mark, posted that he was once in a serious relationship with a girl called Carly. It started off sweet, and they had each other's backs, and Carly even helped him pay off some of his debt. She clearly cared about him a lot. But they hit a rough patch, and while they tried to fix it by talking and going to therapy, Mark decided to cope by cheating on her with Cara, her childhood best friend. Mark blamed Carly on their relationship deteriorating, but he assumed he was being real smart about cheating on her, and that by hiding all the evidence, like texts and calls, Carly would never find out. So imagine his shock when one day Carly sat him down and very calmly asked if he was cheating on her. Panicked, he immediately lied and denied it all, but she just laughed, saying she didn't think he'd admit it, and that she just wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Why? Well, because Cara, feeling guilty, had broken down and shown her their messages a few weeks back. It was only then, when he was cornered, that Mark guiltily admitted it. She just shrugged and said, "It's fine. Oh, by the way, Louie and I are going out tonight. I've been seeing him since last week. Don't be here when I get back." That's when Mark's heart sank, because Louie was his big brother. Not just that, Louie was the golden child of the family, the one that everyone adored. Mark had always felt insecure next to him, and now it turned out Carly had been seeing him to get back at Mark for his affair with Cara. Okay, that sounds like she just leveled the playing field, except Carly knew that she could just block Cara and never have to see her again, but Louie and Mark were family. They were around each other all the time. Family events, birthdays, celebrations, and what's worse, He couldn't tell his family about it because he knew how much worse that would make him look. Carly had made sure he'd never forget about how he wronged her, or how badly his own cheating had backfired on him. Man, talk about keeping it in the family. Between Mark and Miles, whose revenge do you think backfired the worst? For